Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Damontae bringing you a banger. Don't forget to go follow on my Twitch, please. Here you will never miss out on daily Payday content. The Sicario build. Thanks Weebrez for help with the intro. Tips for the Sicario build. It is normally played just like any other dodge build, so target priority is going to be a factor, positioning, using cover. These things will all matter when using Sicario. Make sure to use your smoke bomb a lot. Since most players that are playing Sicario are surviving minutes without throwing the smoke bomb out, if you are using it, you are giving yourself more an advantage of surviving and your teammates. Now keep in mind, your smoke bomb regen is 1 minute, so if you are already playing minutes without using the smoke bomb, you can easily survive and wait for the regen. Most players are saving the smoke bomb for like certain objectives and not using it in battle, but you can manage to use it during battle and objectives since its time frame of waiting really isn't that long. Most of my builds here will be running Sneaky Bastard, so you'll have a 40% chance of sprinting dodge, and it's a high chance to dodge. If you get shot, your armor is broken, and then you have 60 dodge, and then you can hit something like a bullseye to get your armor back, or you'll dodge the bullet and be back at 40. If they break your armor and you get to your HP, like hit, you're pretty much dodging the bullet at that point. The average survival without Sneaky Bastard inside of this build will be 3 shots to 5 shots. Average with Sneaky will be 7 to 9. I'd like to mention that the 50% bullet avoid inside the smoke from the Sicario smoke bomb is not giving you extra dodge. The 50% bullet avoiding is going to be triggering in something like the ICTV, and obviously you won't have 50 dodge stacked, but then you'll still be dodging and avoiding 50% of the bullets. So in a build like a suit Sicario with Sneaky Bastard, you may get hit onto your actual dodge statistic, but then you'll have a bunch of bullet avoids happen. So it's not really dodge in that sense, it's actually just a different concept. I made every one of them players have a heart attack. And the way that you'll see that is inside of the ICTV builds, because you may see that yourself has like 10% or 20% dodge standing in the smoke, but then you'll just avoid a bunch of damage. The Sicario smoke will profit every teammate in that situation, so make sure that you do throw them if, in any game that you're playing. The AR pistol, this build is actually from the 22 Perk Deck video, but this build is most effective and versatile. I would recommend this build for anyone wanting to use Sicario. It brings a lot of ways to survive, using life regen in 2 forms. One is first aid kits, the other is hostage taker. It also has 3 forms of armor regen. One is passive regen, second is bullseye, and the third form is armor regen from the dodge. Now in this build we do bring Sneaky Bastard, and in most of my builds here we'll be bringing Sneaky Bastard. With Sneaky Bastard, it changes the amount of dodge, and in that situation it results in a better way of surviving overall. So if you're trying to survive just 5 shots as your most average without Sneaky Bastard, and if you get Sneaky Bastard and now you're changing that from 7 to 9, that is very strong. And inside that 22 Perk Decks video, it actually goes over the hits concept, and that is what we're talking about in this situation. Being able to get shot 9 to 7 times, that is the hits concept. Speaking about 225 damage and how many shots a certain perk deck is able to require. Now getting into the setup. You will mostly play from range, but you'll have full crits, so damage output is great. The primary rifle comes with decent fire rate and amazing accuracy, so it won't have any issues playing from across the map. Now the 5.7 pistol, that's how you will deal with shields, and just keep that in mind. The primary rifle can be, changed to pretty much any of the guns. It's just I went for the AK-5 since it was probably the most well balanced for this style of play. As I had just mentioned, this build has had changes from the 22 Perk Deck video, but it still plays the same either way that you're using it. It'll play aggressive, and then nowadays, this setup just has more mobility from Sneaky Bastard added. Clearly, you won't be surviving purely from the dodge. You'll have other assets that are, brought to the table. And that's what makes Sicario really strong from just the base perk deck. It survives with armor gating and a dodge style while obtaining a 2-shot HP. Now let's get into the skills for the build here. I bring first aid kits for the aggressive play, and I have a hostage plus hostage taker for a life increase plus the passive life regen. We follow that up with bullseye for the aggressive regen, and we follow that also with resilience, shock and awe for the passive regen stack up. Since it's Sicario, we grabbed a drill skill. We also grabbed body expertise, stacking up with accuracy and stability as we're going up. Do note you can swap that part of the tree a little bit. Then as we previously just mentioned, we grab Sneaky Bastard with Sprinting Dodge. We also have crits. We also bring High Value Target plus the suppressor skills with accuracy. I do like to play Optical Illusions, so we brought Optical Illusions into the build. Now let's get into the guns. For the AK-5, we grab this barrel for the concealment, accuracy, and damage increase. Then we pair it with the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase, paired with a concealment boost to give us some concealment. Some may argue that this foregrip's not the one to play for, but I go for this one just for the concealment. We go for the compact laser module for no statistical change, then pairing that up with the fast mag so that we can continuously deal damage. We went with no sights so that we didn't minus stability or concealment, and then we finished it off with the Caesar stock. For the 5.7 here, we pair it with the tin treated barrel for the accuracy stability. Then we match it up with a suppressor that doesn't minus a hell of a lot of concealment, and then it also gives us some stability. Then pairing it with a concealment boost with the micro laser added so that we don't have any statistical changes. And then lastly, putting the extended mag on there, and then no sight. And I like the extended mag just because it gives you more of the edge. If you liked this build or you tried this build, please let me know in the comment section below. The Sicario sniper rifle build. And this build was seen inside of the DSOD Black Cat solo video. So this build has solo ability is what that means. Now since it doesn't use a joker, I use first aid kits for my healing inside the setup, which isn't a bad way to survive either. If the player is positioning correctly and effectively, you can avoid damage to the HP and be able to handle crowds of enemies with the gray sniper. With the weapons that I chose here, you can choose through like 3 different semi-automatic snipers. I found that the Contractor 308 with 20 shots was just more effective than the other ones. Since the build uses crits, it can one-shot heavy units in that situation. But if it doesn't have that crit trigger, it does take 2 shots to kill a heavy unit. So with that being said, the 20 shots can make a difference with being capable of staying in the fight. The secondary SMG is mostly for refilling the sniper rifle. Now since you do have full crits, the SMG can deal major damage to the common cops. Now I like to use the SMG mostly for like destroying the dozer's faceplates and then pop them with a sniper from distance. But that's only if the situation is being, played that way. Also, let's take note that the SMG that you're using can be very versatile. You can switch through just, a handful of them as long as the concealment range is low enough. What I love about this setup is that I can survive mostly by myself. I bring what I need to the table and what is needed for surviving the mission, such as crowd control, DPS output, and that's mostly depending if you're using your primary sniper. Try to stay away from the cops, keep distance, so that they cannot even, deal damage to you. And if you keep distance, then you will allow yourself to use the sniper with the grays, and it'll do all the work for you. Yes, and I want to mention you only have 14 heals in this build, but you're capable of using it as long as you don't make that many mistakes. The 14 heals will make it through 15-minute missions, no issue, and that's just on average. Now, let's go over the skills that I have in this setup. I bring first aid kits for the aggressive life regen, and then pair that with aggressive reload and grays for crowd control, capabilities. Then I pair that with bullseye for aggressive armor regen, and then resilience shock and awe for the passive armor regen. I go for a surefire ace so that my SMG can pierce armor, and then I also grab a drill skill here. Then we pair that with Sneaky Bastard and Sprinting Dodge, and then we go for full crits, optical illusions, high value target, accuracy, stability stack up. Now the guns that we have in the build. The Contractor 308, we go for the suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Then inside the boost, I go for the accuracy boost, but alternatively you can go for the concealment boost, but I just personally went for the accuracy. Then we pair it with the micro laser so that we don't get any statistical changes. Then we go for the titanium handle for the concealment buff. This part is completely optional, but I go for the see more sight, and then, it just kind of gives you a little bit of stability. And then to finish it off, we go for the folding stock for concealment. Now for the micro Uzi, we go for the Maquis suppressor for the little bit of damage minus and the concealment. Then pairing it with a concealment boost. And then as the same for the micro laser on this gun, we're just using that for no statistical change. And then finishing the gun off with no stock, and it still yields like 94 or 92 stability. Unfortunately, Payday 2's math is kind of weird sometimes. Oh yeah, there's a lot of cops. I'm going to let some of this clutch play out, but unfortunately I'm not going to be able to play the rest of the clutch, or it's going to extend for another 24 minutes of me playing solo on this mission with my teammates in custody. So unfortunately, we're just going to show just a little bit, but this will be a weekly video soon. Let me know if you guys use this build, or do you think that this is a strong build. The LMG Body Expertise Graze Pocket Sniper Sicario build. A one-of-a-kind style of build. Before this, you would have never have witnessed an LMG paired with a sniper rifle, a Body Expertise paired with a Graze. You have never seen these two powerhouses collide until now. The LMG in this setup is great for close quarter combat. We went for the KSP with 215 ammo for constant damage output. We have grabbed crits paired with it also, so we can just lay it onto a dozer when they come after you. I like playing DPS in this setup since I can drop smokes and just kill as many as I can with the LMG, while being in the safety of the smoke for nearly 10 whole seconds, being able to survive it all. Now, with the LMG, if you are a good enough gunner, you will understand how to effectively deal with crowds of cops by staggering them with shock and awe, dealing enough damage to them so they'll naturally stagger and roll around on the ground, kill and prioritize the cops that are aiming at you, and shooting, the ones so that you can keep yourself alive. Now, time to throw a curveball. We bring a secondary sniper with Graze, making long-range combat even more effective. Now, this is one of the kind build because Body Expertise is paired with Graze. You have insane ability to, fight off whole crowds of cops, which is really depending on the weapon that you have pulled out. If it's the sniper, you're capable of close range, medium ranged, and long ranged. All these combats that I have just mentioned in the past. Now, the main thing in this build here is that you're wanting to hit as many headshots as you can to make the Graze the most effective. This build wasn't able to fit Sneaky Bastard, but that's no issue, considering that most 230 HP setups have an average of 3 shots survival. This build can average 3 shots or more, since dodge is a factor here. I had placed the light ballistic vest with 70 armor in this build. It helps with the light units 2-shot armor since we are constantly being in the fight, and since the light units are the ones that'll hit you faster than heavy units, this becomes much more effective. But since this build still has dodge and dodge stacking from the perk, you will still have these armor gates that play consistently, and it will allow you to play aggressively. To me, it's a very fun style overall. Now, let's go over the skills for the build. We go for Partners in Crime for the HP increase, and then we go for Hostage Taker for the passive HP regen to keep us in the battle for longer. We do pair that with Graze, as we mentioned earlier, and Aggressive Reload. Then it is followed by Bullseye for the aggressive armor regen, and then we grab Resilience and Shock and Awe for just the passive regen. We do go for Ballistic Vest armor. Then we go for Stability Accuracy increase with Lock and Load aced and Surefire aced, pairing it with Body Expertise. And we do go for the drill skill since we have a smoke bomb and we're Sicario, it kinda does play together. We go for sprinting dodge so that we can actually get a dodge increase when sprinting. Then we pair that with crits, extra stability, and then we have high value target as well. Now, getting into the guns and how they're customized. The long barrel for the accuracy stability increase, and then followed that with the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Bipod because why not? Then I followed it up with a stability increase. Did not put the railed foregrip, but do give yourself the LED combo for the 8 stability stack up, then go for the solid stock for the stability stack up. For the sniper here, we went for the suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Then went for the bolt for the faster fire rate because it does make the difference here. Obviously you can change this to an accuracy boost, but this is shared as a weapon so it has a concealment. We went for the micro laser for no statistical changes. Then this is completely optional, but we went for the See More sight. You can choose pretty much any scope, any sight that you want. And as previously mentioned, this was a shared weapon, so that's why it's used in a concealment fashion, but obviously you can build it more for an accuracy stability driven. Regardless, its overall ability as that type of weapon doesn't change, so it's like perfect either way. If you guys decide to use this build, let me know what you guys think of the body expertise grays paired together.
Hey, King, come with me. Hey, follow me.
Sicario Akimbo SMGs with a secondary 100 damage SMG. Like most HP setups, the DamontaeKxng Akimbos are an amazing choice for strong damage. They deal, a crazy amount of damage without Berserker being, in use of the build. Now with that being said, the DPS is high enough to be the main killer for the team, while I still have a secondary SMG that is constantly 100 damage, and it's mostly for my ranged combat. The Jackal is what I went for, but really you can go for any of the 100 damage SMGs. They will all fit fine for the playstyle, while the Jackal just has good accuracy and it comes with 100 stability. When using this build, be very specific to drop smokes, because you can drop dozers in a fast time, and it is very handy to have smokes to push this dozer. It'll help you avoid damage from the heavy units and the other common units around. Dropping smokes to fight back crowds and dropping smokes to keep you safe, or just making a run across the map. Like throwing the smoke out there and then like running out to it, and then as you're out there in the smoke, try to prioritize what cop is shooting you, take those, those cops out, and then you continue to do what you're doing. This has a heavy rely on the Joker, sadly. Inside of this HP setup, the only HP setup that we've got is the HP regen from the hostage taker. But using the HP gen from the hostage taker still lets you survive the mission much longer, but it does add some, passive play to that aspect. That is not a bad thing that HP regen is a waiting phase, because that waiting phase can be paired with the smoke bomb waiting phase, and during the 1 minute regen of your smoke bomb, you've had most of your HP regen from hostage taker. And it is a useful tool to keep yourself alive at lower HP standpoints if you were to deploy the smoke bomb and then maybe relocate or try to be in a safer position. The way I play this setup is very aggressive, trying to be in the fight like in any case that you can. No matter the range, this build is very suited for any position, as long as you position yourself correctly. Try to close the distance when fighting the cops and try to smartly relocate. Put the distance between when you're starting to get pushed. And that's how you'll profit in pretty much every dodge build, is how I just described. Now let's go over the skills for the build here. We grab Hostage Taker plus a Joker to give us an HP increase plus my HP regen, and we do also grab ourselves a little bit of stability in here. Then we go for Bullseye for the aggressive armor regen. Then we pair that with Body Expertise with Surefire Aced and Lock and Load, grabbing ourselves accuracy and stability as we were going up. Then we go for Sneaky Bastard with the Sprinting Dodge so that we can survive more shots just overall. Then we go for Full Crits, Stability, Accuracy, high value target, optical illusions, the same old. And then we go to finish the build off with the Akimbo skill so that we can also give ourselves a 50% increase to our ammo pool. Now let's get into the guns. We went for this precision barrel for the accuracy stability increase, and then paired that with the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. For the boost, we gave ourselves an accuracy boost. Then we went for the LED combo for the stability increase. Then we went after the aluminum grip for the accuracy increase, and then we went for no stocks for the concealment increase. For the Jackal, we went for the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Then we paired that with a concealment boost. Then we grabbed the compact laser module for no statistical change. Then we followed it by the smaller magazine for the concealment increase. We did not go for any sights, and we did not change the stock. But we did go for the foregrip that also has a flashlight and a laser attached to it. I hope that anybody that does play this build will see the strength and the ability and the aggressiveness that you can play inside this build. Now if you did choose to play this build, please let me know in the comment section, and maybe if you change something to a different Akimbo or a different SMG, let me know. Sicario DMR build. The DMR that you're using doesn't exactly matter here. Just getting a DMR for the build for the damage yield is what's really it's all going for. The accuracy that the DMR is using also helps for the distance shooting, and then keeping distance will affect the cops from targeting you. The farther away you are, the harder it is to target you. We do bring the 5.7 for shields, and it helps with getting your ammo back for the primary weapon. Now, overall, the setup has a rough way to keep your ammo, economy up. But we do bring an ammo bag with us here. But that means we have to rely on Joker for HP regen, but this will promote a passive playstyle when we're taking damage. And as we mentioned previously, when you do take damage and you wait for your smoke bomb to regen, you're waiting for your HP to regen, or you're waiting for your HP to regen and you have your smoke bomb, so you're able to use your smoke bomb and then be more safe. But since you're using the DMR setup, the passive playstyle and playing from distance really flows all the same way. We bring Sneaky Bastard into the build, which allows us to survive more shots just overall. Instead of surviving 3 to 5 shots overall without Sneaky Bastard, with Sneaky Bastard, you're able to survive 7 to 9 shots overall, which is much more strong than without it, obviously. The way I'm using this build has full crit, so I'm capable of one-shotting the enemies just like it is in the sniper rifle build, but it heavily relies on the crits to get the one-shot kill. Now, that's perfectly fine because your damage yield is nasty with the DMR. Just be careful of targeting dozers. It might be rough on your ammo overall, but it can easily destroy the dozers with that fully automatic DMR at that damage yield. Now, let's go over the skills for the build here. We go for Hostage Taker plus Partners in Crime for the HP stack up plus the HP passive regen to keep us in the battle. I like the zoom in skill, so I grabbed that as well. We then paired it up with Shock and Awe and Resilience for the passive armor regen, and then for aggressive armor regen we went for Bullseye. Then we paired it with Surefire Ace and some accuracy and stability stack ups. A very headshot driven build to keep in mind. Then we grabbed Sneaky Bastard and Sprinting Dodge with full crits, high value target, more accuracy and stability plus optical illusions. And then we go to finish it off with just some pistol skills to pull it out quicker and have slightly more ammo. Let's get into the guns for the build. We grab the DMR kit for the damage plus the accuracy stability increases, and then we pair that up with the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Then we give ourselves the concealment boost, which is then paired with the blast from the past foregrip so we can get some more concealment. Then we use the compact laser so we have no statistical changes, which is then paired with the titanium skeletal grip for the concealment increase, the thrust for the damage, then a fast mag to keep us in the battle continuously. This part is completely optional, but the Seymour sight is what I went for. You can choose any scope, any sight. Then I went for the wide stock for the concealment stability increase, and then lastly we went for the exquisite for the damage and stability. For the 5.7 here, we pair it with the tin treated barrel for the accuracy stability. Then we match it up with a suppressor that doesn't minus a hell of a lot of concealment, and then it also gives us some stability. Then pairing it with a concealment boost with the micro laser added so that we don't have any statistical changes. And then lastly, putting the extended mag on there and then no sight. And I like the extended mag just because it gives you more of the edge. Now I know I mentioned earlier that you mostly want to play from range and keep distance from your enemies, but from these clips here I'm going to be showing you that it's going to be some close quarters combat and being able to maneuver and some mobility within the DMR build itself. I also want to mention that I'm taking a lot of risks in this situation, but as you see I get a lot of profits. If you aren't going to take a risk, you're not going to get a profit. If you're going to be just playing safe all the time, there's not much profit to be gained. So if you're going to be taking risks and doing things out of the ordinary, you have major profits that can come out of this. Make sure that you know that timing is everything. Grace period, reaction time, damaging the cops, all this stuff is timed perfectly so that you can play perfectly.
Does the cops have a path, that's all? Do they like being inside each other? That's all.
Another road about to be taken.
What's up, Dano Banano?
What's up, my guy?
Close.
What's up, my guy? Thank you so much for the follow.
ICTV LMG Sicario build. This setup has dodge stacking inside the build, but we're using the ICTV. But that being said, we have 2-shot armor consistent inside this build. I have the LMG for most ranges. While the damage output is great, you are not capable of moving all over the map, as you will be able to with all the other setups. Having an LMG helps with crowd control. With the LMG, if you are a good enough gunner, you will understand how to effectively deal with cops by staggering them with shock and awe, dealing enough damage to them that they'll naturally stagger and roll around on the ground, kill and prioritize the cops that are aiming at you and shooting at you to keep yourself alive. What you need to do mostly inside this build is use cover and stack up your dodge for the armor gate inside the ICTB. Now I bring the nade launcher inside this build with gas grenades mostly for crowd control because that'll help you consistently not take damage. If the player knows where the spawns are in the map, the gas grenades inside this setup will be the most effective for the survival. Now I want to point out we do rely on first aid kits for 2-shot armor for the consistent 2 minutes of damage reduction from the first aid kits. Now I bring Jack of all trades in this build just for an ammo bag, and as I had mentioned earlier, it is hard for you to have some mobility in this build, so the ammo bag makes it so much easier for your survival. You won't have to expose yourself to grab ammo boxes, you can do it from the safety of cover. When you are getting pushed, you have a crit LMG, so you can defend yourself in every situation. If it's long ranged, medium ranged, or close ranged, you have a crit LMG. Now let's get into the skills for the build here. We go for first aid kits and quick fix ace, so we have 2 minutes of consistent damage reduction for 2-shot armor. We pair that also with stability. Then we grab ICTB and shock and awe ace so that we can stagger the enemies and have 2-shot armor. As I just mentioned, we have Jack of all trades so we can carry first aid kits and an ammo bag. Then we pair that with body expertise ace, surefire ace, and lock and load ace with stability and accuracy stack up. Then we grab the sprint skills with crits, and then we grab high value target, optical illusions, and accuracy and stability. Now getting into the guns and how they're customized. The long barrel for the accuracy stability increase, and then followed that with the bigger the better suppressor for the accuracy stability increase. Bipod because why not? Then I followed it up with a stability increase. Did not put the railed foregrip, but do give yourself the LED combo for the 8 stability stack up, then go for the solid stock for the stability stack up. For the nade launcher here, we go for an accuracy increase to start. Then we added the venomous set, which just gives us the, a couple of different changes to the gun, but most importantly, it gives us the venom smoke. Now every nade launcher has access to the venom smoke nades. I just went with this one because it's a new DLC. If you guys decide to use the LMG ICTV Sicario, let me know how it went. The Sicario shotgun meta build from the past. This is my personal favorite build. It is like playing the old meta Isma Shotgun Judge. The primary shotgun is used for all cops, while fighting dozers on the other hand. Just be careful of the ammo pool you have just at that moment, since it'll eat up your ammo because dozers HP versus your shotgun just don't really mix well. Group killing ability in the shotgun build is next to none. You have the ability to shoot down with your shotgun like a hallway or an alleyway and just hit everything. Since I'm using surefire with the build and buckshot, we are having a stack up of overkill damage output, pairing it with full crits, and then let surefire deal the big damage to the bodies and hit everybody with headshots and possible crits. We bring first aid kits inside this setup to be very aggressive, allowing me to push into nearly any fight that I get into. I do bring a Joker and Hostage Taker for some passive regen. I know it's basic Hostage Taker, but it's really only used to patch up my HP if I get hit by a light unit, or if I'm damaged and really close to 225 HP, I let the Hostage Taker heal me to above 225 HP instead of having to use a first aid kit. So mistakes are allowed to happen more, and the aggressive playstyle is nearly a must if you're having a shotgun. We bring a fire shotgun as a secondary weapon. It's amazing to refill the ISMA. The fire can easily crowd control the enemies, and which will allow you to just have freedom to move around the map or just deal damage to everything. Let's get into the skills for the build that we have here. We go for first aid kits for the very aggressive playstyle, and then we go for double jokers, health increase, plus hostage taker basic as I had just previously mentioned, just to patch your HP. Then we grab overkill for the damage increase for the shotgun, then pairing that with bullseye so that we can be aggressive with the armor regen. Then we grab the secret sauce, as I like to call it, the surefire inside of the buckshot build so that our buckshot can deal massive damage to the body. Next we grab ourselves sneaky bastard and then sprinting dodge plus the run and reload. Then we grab ourselves full crits, high value target, and then we grab ourselves optical illusions because it's my playstyle. Then we go to finish it off with just martial arts, but you can drop that 1 point pretty much anywhere. Now getting into the guns for the build, we start off with having buckshot for that damage increase. Then we go for short barrel for the accuracy minus and the concealment increase. Then we go for the Donald's horizontal leveler to make my shotgun burst flat. We pair that with the accuracy minus to make me have more of a spread. Then we put auto fire on to minus accuracy again and give us a damage increase. Then we go for the hollow grip, which will give us some concealment. Then we pair that with the compact laser module so we have no statistical change. Then we grab the wood grip AK so we have some stability. And then after that we go for the solid stock for the stability once again. We grab the Big Brother magazine for the extra ammo inside the magazine.
Yes, it is. Pull up on the Sicario, you get lit up. Where is he? Get lit up, bro.
Now let's get into the judge. The only thing that's important here is grabbing Dragon's Breath fire rounds so that you can control the crowds of enemies. Other than that, just get yourself a low concealment. I'm using the mod that allows me to customize my legendary skins, and I put the Dragon's Breath onto my judge on this one, so it matches the criteria as you would without it. So what do you guys think of the build? I think the build is personally one of the strongest ones in the pair. Sicario ICTV Frenzy Shotgun. This setup has dodge stacking inside the build, but we are using ICTB. With that being said, we have 2-shot consistent armor inside the build with Frenzy Aced. Now, if we go for Frenzy Aced inside the setup, because if you have Frenzy Aced, you can get 3-shot armor of 2-type damage. So if you take a light unit damage and then a heavy unit damage of 225, and then another light unit damage, then your armor will break. And then the same goes for if you were to take a 225 shot, a light unit, and then another 225 shot, then your armor will break. If you were using Frenzy Basic in this situation, that will not happen. You will manage 1 light unit, 1 heavy unit, 1 heavy unit, 1 light unit. What you need to do mostly inside this build is use cover and stack up dodge for the armor gate inside the ICTB. The primary shotgun is used for like all the cops, while fighting dozers on the other hand might drain your ammo pool, but at the moment you have Zerk in this build, so it doesn't really eat it up too much. Group killing ability is next to none because you have a shotgun, and then if you were to shoot down a hallway or down an alleyway, you're going to be hitting everything because I'm bringing surefire in this build with buckshot. And if we're having the stack up from overkill and the damage output, pairing it with the Zerk, and then we have crits inside the build, and then we let our surefire do all the damage to the body, and we're hitting headshots, it's essentially just going to be easy mode. We bring a fire shotgun as a secondary, which is amazing to refill the ISMO. The fire can easily control the crowd of enemies, which will let you just have the freedom to move around or just deal damage where it's needed. Let's get into the skills for the build. We go for just stability inside the mastermind skill tree. Then we pair it up with overkill for shotgun damage increase, and we get consistent 2-shot armor, and then we pair that also with shock and awe so we can stagger shields if we don't have the pistol out. As we get the secret sauce, which is known as surefire aced, and then we grab drill skills to speed the heist up a little bit. Then we grab the sprint skills from Ghost, pairing that with crits, grabbing ourselves high value target and optical illusion. Then we grab ourselves Frenzy Aced as we had just explained, and then we grab ourselves Berserker Aced, Pumping Iron Aced, Bloodthirst Basic so that we can destroy dozers with our melee. Now the Frenzy Sicario build is definitely the hardest one to survive with, but with the damage shield that it's offering, it can actually be one of the more fun ones to play with. Considering it does have 3-shot armor of 2 different damage types, it can be very fun and strong depending on how you're using it. Going into the shotgun for this build, you can use buckshot and or flechette since it's a Zerk build. Then we go for the short barrel for the accuracy minus. Then we pair that with the leveler so my shotgun spread is flat. For the boost, we give ourselves a minus accuracy so we have more of a spread. We go for auto fire because it gives us a minus accuracy. We give ourselves this rail for the stability, and then we also go for the sight for the stability. For the foregrip here, we go for stability, and then we go for the LED combo for some stability as well. Go for the AK grip for some stability, and then we finish it off with basically some more stability items, and that's pretty much it. It's just all stability focus. But you must keep in mind the way that I'm building it and the way that you're building it may be different because of playstyle. So this shotgun in particular is very versatile with the way that you can build it inside of this build, since there's no requirements for concealment. And with that, that is the last build I have to present for the best Sicario builds. If you decide to play any one of these builds, please let me know how they work for you, and if you've made any changes to any of the builds, let me know what you've changed so that maybe I can implement it into the builds themselves. Thank you so much Weebrez, and thank you so much Dacker for helping me with the intro at the beginning here. And we are very close to 1,400 subs on YouTube. We're like 3 subs away, so all I can ask for you guys is just to please hit that subscribe button. Please leave me a like, please leave me a comment, and I would greatly appreciate it. I try to answer every comment. I try to give, everybody a thumbs up. I try to give everybody hearts because you guys do mean a lot to me. It does mean the world that you guys help me reach my dream.